Hello, welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is the Author's Corner. Meet the author. I am your host here today. I am Cece Shatz, the Doyenne of relationships. I am a divorce, dating, and a life coach, and also the president of Going Solo Network. So we want to thank you very much for joining us here today. All the information that you'll find is on our goingsolonetwork.com. All of our wonderful hosts and guests and all of our videos are right there for you so that you can have a look at them. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. So we want to thank you guys for joining us here today. And also all of our shows go up on Roku and or Roku, I say it wrong, and also Amazon TV and all of the other podcast stations. We are on I don't know, 50 some, 54 or whatever, 50, I say 50 plus platforms that we distribute all of our of shows on. And so we have that, and we have our live streaming radio station, which is we've been on radio for 10 years now, but now we're embracing music, and so we're kind of excited about that. So check that out if you'd like, right on the goingsolomediacom. But enough of that, because we've got an author waiting in the wing, and we want to talk to her because we are excited. Our author today is not only an author of a terrific, great read book, but a book that will definitely help you if you want to make some money. And we all want to do that in today's world, don't we? But better than that, she's also one of our wonderful elite guests, and we're really excited about that, that she's joining our family here on Going Solo Network. So welcome to the show, Patricia.
Hi, great to be here. Thanks a lot, Cece, for having me.
Oh, it is great having you. You have now written this wonderful book, Stop Throwing Cash in the Trash.
Yes,
And I
I'm
love that.
excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, I love that because you know what? We do throw away money. We don't realize it. And so tell us why you wrote this book and a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I used to be the owner of a travel agency, and the industry kind of, the people went to the internet. The airlines didn't give us commission anymore, and I thought, oh gosh, what am I going to do now? So I decided that since I had been antiquing and going to auctions and estate sales and garage sales as a hobby, well, maybe I could run an estate sale business. So for many years, along with the estate or the travel agency, I also did put items on I'm sorry, eBay, and sold them for cash. So when I started the estate sale business, I noticed that people were throwing away the items that the side hustlers / dealers, such as myself back then, were looking for these items, but people were throwing them away. I was like, oh gosh, now what do I do? So I approached a blogger, and they said, listen, you want to talk to a publisher? I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I could write a book. And I'm like, yeah, sure you could. So that's what brought me to this point, with some help from family and friends and, editing. I was able to publish the book. So,
I think it's great. Well,
thank you.
I, for one, absolutely love to go to estate sales and garage sales because, and I always get teased that other people's trash is my treasure, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, and I love to redo things. I love to, kind of crafty and whatever. So I love to do that. But I am amazed at the things that you can find for nothing. I mean, the price of it. People really don't understand the value, and especially if you do an estate sale, because they just want to liquidate. They just want to get rid of stuff. And so if it's just a family doing their own estate sale, they had no idea the value of stuff. And so it's important to have someone like yourself that really knows, hey, wait a minute, this is a collectible thing and this can bring you more money. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's kind of segment it out a little bit with regards to, what we kind of find at estate sales.
Okay, well, you can find about anything at estate sales. I just wrote an article that talked about things that you can find in your shed, believe it or not. That's one of the first places people head to is a shed, either the shed or the garage or the basement or the attic. It's
Right.
not on the main level. I mean, when we are called to do a job, people show us their china hutch and they show us the dishes in their cabinet. And I'm thinking, nobody wants them anymore. It's a sad truth, but for the moment, teacups and crystal are not highly desired. The millennials are looking for one-of-a-kind, unique items that maybe brings them maybe to a moment in their past, or their grandparents' past, or their parents' past. And then they have it, like they'll put it in a display, or put it in a shadow box. And so it's like, if you have there's a few teacups out there that are worth money, but for the most part, that china that grandma gave you, it's just basically worth the value that it is to your family, like heirloom value.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I mean, yeah, you can find, vintage toys, vintage clothing, some of the most misunderstood things. One of them is vintage clothing. And I bought a couple of things to show you whenever, but the thing that you want to look at is the labeling on clothes. Because if there's old labels, and I'll show you one here real quick.
Yeah.
This is like a Hawaiian type of shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I like that hanger. Anyways, if you can see the label, it's very plain.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't have like a mile long. Yeah, it doesn't have like a mile long on where it came from, the instructions, or anything like that. It just has the name, made in USA. So that means that this shirt was dated probably about the 1960s, which is a good thing, because the younger generation loves vintage clothing. They'll do anything to find vintage clothing, but that's the first thing people get rid of. They're like, either thrift it or throw it in a dumpster, which is so sad.
Right. What about jewelry? Like old jewelry? Is that in?
From the Art Nouveau, Art Deco, Victorian, yes. Right. And of course, fine gold. Everybody's always looking for the gold. The dealers come in right away. They want to go to the gold. It's like, most of the time the family keeps the gold, but sometimes we end up with some of it. The biggest misunderstood thing about jewelry is that you could have a small diamond ring and yet have a signed piece from the 1950s that's worth more than the diamond ring. So, people are like, oh, it's just costume jewelry. No, it's not just costume jewelry. It could be, a fine piece of jewelry from a designer that can be worth like $1,000, but yet the ring will bring you in $300.
Right.
So pay attention to signed pieces. They'll have a little tag on where the clasp is.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good tip. That's a good tip. Well, I have my grandmother's ring, and when I got it, the stone was all messed up. Like she had super glued it or something back in place, and it looked terrible, right? So I had at the time I was working with at a law firm, and one of the clients came in and was in the jewelry business, and so I told him about it, and he said, well, bring it in, let me look at it when I come to visit next time. So I brought it in, and he goes, oh, this is really a nice piece, and he went on and on about it, and I'm thinking like, well, I didn't really think it was all that great, it was my grandmother, so I liked it. And he said, no, this is black. He called it Black Hills Gold or something like that.
Oh, Black Hills Gold?
Yeah. And he said, oh, this is really nice. He said, you want to put a nice stone in that. And so he took it and put a stone in for me. Didn't charge me or anything, bless his heart. But he said,
those are the kind of guys we need to find.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was very, very sweet. Well, I helped him a lot with his estate, but he said the ring itself. He said the stone is not the value. He said it's the ring that's the value. And I had no idea. I thought it was the other way around. I thought it would be the stone, even though it was messed up. But so it's amazing what we learn when we're doing it. So yeah. So tell us a little bit about, like when you go into an estate sale, right, or a garage sale and things, what are we looking for? Like when we're looking for things, is there, if we're truly looking for something of value, are we going to find it on the table? Are we going to find it in boxes? What do you think? or we need to do? Do we really need to go through all those boxes on the floor? Those.
Those are the best kind.
I
I hate to say it, but you got to get down and dirty. When I
Yeah.
watch some of these, like the American Pickers, and they do a good job, but I'm thinking they look pretty clean. And
Mhm.
I mean, when I get into digging, I'm digging. It's
Yeah.
like, watch out, things are going every which way. But you're looking for that one of a kind, like, oh, this looks unusual, and it looks like it has a story to it or something like that. So,
Mhm.
like a long time ago, I went to a garage sale, and a gentleman, for some reason, my intuition told me it was just a guy sitting out with 2 card tables full of stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to stop at that garage sale. There's only 2 card tables. And I'm like, no, you're going to stop. So I stopped, and he had 2 little baggies full of jewelry. And he only wanted $5 a bag. So I picked up one of them, and I was like, shoot, this is 2 bracelets in here that look to me like Bakelite. Bakelite meaning the first plastic. And, I'll tell you a little bit about that. But I was like, it is valuable. So I thought, well, it's unusual, though. It had like dots placed strategically around it. It's like, but they were like inlaid. They weren't just painted on, they were inlaid. So I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead, spend the $5, take a chance. $5, right?
Mhm.
So I came home, I put both the bracelets on eBay. I found out they were called injected dot bakelite. Very rare. I sold one for $3,000 and one for $3,200. So yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. They struck me as unusual. I was like, wow, these are just unique. You're unique. Well, somebody knew what they were, and they're like,
Right, right. And so when you buy these things, right, it's best to just snatch them up.
oh yeah. And the way you can tell bakelite, I'll give you a little tip, is if you want to know if it's bakelite, if you're not sure, you just take it and rub it between your fingers until you create heat. Then you smell it, and if it smells like formaldehyde, then it's bakelite.
Wow.
Which is
I
good.
didn't know that. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. So you really do dig and get into, into things. And like you said, it's really the unique pieces that are, probably maybe a collectible or, something rare that somebody would actually pay good money for. Not
Sure.
your standard. So often we think it's like, paintings or things like that. What do people waste their money on, do you think? Like if you go and you buy, you waste your money on stuff. What do you think is like a lot of people think electronics would get a lot of money, but I don't think they really do they, in garage sales and estate sales?
Well, anything vintage is quality. So my daughter goes out and buys a $2,000 refrigerator. I've got one at home. It's from the 1980s, and it's been working since the 1980s. So people spend a lot of money now on clothing that doesn't last very long, appliances, electronics, like you said, there are quality, but for the most part, they're not made to last anymore. And that's on purpose so that we can keep buying.
Right.
But when you find, and a lot of these dealers know that, electronics is big, like vintage electronics, old school, back in the 70s and 80s. You remember those hi-fi stereos and stuff like that? People want those back because they work good. They're tried and true, bring back memories. That old console stereo, it works.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you're like, oh, I remember, dancing with my friends in front of that. And so, yeah, there's a lot of waste today. And I think that's why it's bringing more and more people to the estate sale business, because people are looking to go back in time.
Right. Yeah. Just kind of savoring those special moments. I know record players are real big, getting big back. They're coming back again, the old vinyl records and things like that.
Oh, yes. If you want to look for, well, weirdly enough, like, for instance, I have a stack of records only because they mean something to me, like Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, Moody Blues, Three Dog Night. But it's an unusual album that it's like maybe one of the first vinyls of that recording came out. Promos that are you'll know a promo because it'll state it on the album a sleeve, or the record will be white. So if you have just a record, if it's in bad condition, it's not worth anything. But
Yeah.
if you have a promo or one that's in mint condition, or from a group that was like what they call them one-hit wonders, and they came out with an album, that's the one that people are looking for. Or those are the ones that people are looking for. But records, we love records. We love the memories.
Yeah, as in our age group, I know that we tend to go back and really it really makes us
Yeah.
happy. And music of any type always seems to
Oh
relate
God,
to
I
us.
love I
Yeah.
love all music. It's just
hmm
light of my life.
Yeah, we couldn't be without music. I definitely think it's very, very vital to us, very important, which is why we're bringing music back to our platform, which because it's
Yes,
important. People can relate to it and really it helps them through not only the good times in life but also some of the bad times, so it helps get them through. So we thought that would be really
exactly.
good. But I love this. I mean, I think you've been doing this for like what, over 25 years, right? You've been
Oh yeah, for a
yeah.
long time. Even my childhood, a little bit about my childhood, but my dad was a treasure hunter in
Mhm.
the utmost way. My dad, we mined for gold in Anchorage, Alaska. We were his working crew. We looked for emeralds. We looked for ghost towns. We would take his car up on roads that you wouldn't want to take a motorcycle on. I mean, to get to a ghost town. So my dad was a treasure seeker. We looked for we went into no trespassing zones because he said it was okay to look for Civil War buttons. But anyway, so yeah, those, I guess I kind of grew up treasure minded and
Mhm.
realized, wow, there's other treasures out there other than, rubies, emeralds, diamonds, gold. There's other treasures.
Mhm. Well, treasure, what did they say about treasure? Treasure is in the eye of the beholder, right? So it's
Exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
So
It's true.
it's whatever makes you happy, that's your treasure. And so I personally love it. I mean, I used to go a lot with my dad. I think I told you that, shared that with you, is that when I was taking care of my dad there for a while, we had a go-kart and we lived in I'm in Florida and there's an area, it's called Sun City Center, and a lot of retirees live there. And so we'd get on the golf cart and we would go from one estate sale to another or garage sale
Oh,
to another.
fun.
And we had so much fun. We'd take my little dog with us, put her in the basket, and we'd go. And if I bought anything big, I'd have to come back with the car and pick it up. But we had a ball. We had a ball doing that. And we bought all kinds of stuff. Tools is a really good one too, you can get some vintage tools that are worth some money, that are,
Vintage tools.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
I mean, to me, they're not valuable at all, right? Because I don't really see the value in it. But my
Have you
father
got?
would be crazy if he saw something like really, really old, a vintage type. He said that's worth a lot of money. But I guess it's to a collector that collects those kind of things. So
Well,
yeah. So,
they know what they're looking for.
mhm.
One of the newer things would be snap-on tools. That's a big. Those are valuable now. So if you go
Yeah.
to a garage sale or estate sale and you see a snap-on tool for $2-3, grab it.
hmm
And things like old hatchets, axes.
hmm
Uh, when you bought a recent item from, say, Home Depot, like say a hoe or something, and you go to use it in your garden, and all of a sudden it falls apart. That's what I mean. The old tools, for 60 years they stayed intact. So
Yeah.
yeah, people want the tools.
Yeah, so tools is another one. So we're gonna take a quick break. So when we come back, we'll talk about some more items that you might want to be looking for. And let's talk a little bit about your book too, about why they want to buy this book to be able to help them as they're seeking their treasures, right? As they're out doing the garage sales and the estate sales. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I am just very excited to have you here with us. And again, your author, Patricia. And is it Penkin? Is that how you pronounce your
Yeah,
last name?
Penke.
Yeah, Penke. And so the book is Stop Throwing Cash in the Trash. Stop Throwing Cash in the Trash. And you can purchase the book right on Amazon. All you have to do is go on Amazon and it's right there and you could do it. On our show links, if you go into, we're doing it live here on Facebook and also YouTube. At the bottom of our show link, you can just link, we're linking it to Amazon. You can go right there and buy our book. So, but if you're listening to this and you don't happen to have the show links, you just go to Amazon.com. All you have to do is put in Stop Throwing Cash in the Trash and purchase the book. It's an easy read and it's a lot of fun. And, shoot, maybe you'll make some money here when you are out looking at some of the garage sales and the estate sales. So would kind of fun. We hope that you do. Let us know that. Right, Patricia?
Oh, yeah.
That would be nice. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the other things you want to look for when you're going to estate sales and some garage sales. So we'll be right back. Well, welcome back. You guys are listening to the Author's Corner, Meet the Author. I am Cece Shatz, a Doyenne of Relationship Building. We are on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We have one of our elite guests, an author, Patricia Penke, and we're talking about Stop Throwing Cash in the Trash. You can find that book on Amazon. It's Stop Throwing Cash in the Trash. We're talking about going to some some estate sales, some garage sales, some of the things you can find that are maybe worth valuable items that people don't realize, and you're picking it up, for like dirt cheap. And then also let's talk a little bit, Patricia, about when you are clearing out some things of your families, because so often we don't realize some of these small things. Like we'll think maybe a stamp collection or something like that might be of value because it's a collection of something. But when we're looking at some other items, is there anything you can think of that people tend to throw out that's actually worth something?
Yeah, I will tell some about the collectible thing. Here's one of the things that it's bad news for a lot of people, but in the 1990s, I'd say 1990s, I think this started into like after the millennial, like Franklin Mint, Beanie Babies, collecting went haywire. And people went out and spent almost everything they had to wait in line to get the Beanie Babies, to get the Cabbage Patches, Tickle Me Elmos, the plates and things like that. Nobody wants them anymore. Nobody wants them anymore. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not a few out there that aren't valuable. Some are. But again, the things that people think are valuable, they'll say, hey, I've got this huge collection of plates. You're lucky to see $2 a piece for them. $2 a piece. And that's sad because they paid 50 or higher for them. So the collecting, the things that, for instance, what I collect, of course, like my forte is vintage clothes. So I ended up paying, I know this sounds unheard of, but I paid $1,600 to own a pair of Levi's blue jeans. So I could talk to everybody about why I bought them for $1,600 because they're worth $7,000. So people want those items because they can't get them anymore. So it's not the items that you're able to get and collect. Like when you're talking about stamps, and that's one of those things again that we have books and books we find as stamps, but maybe one out of 500 is worth some money. So if you're a family member and somebody needs to go into assisted living or has passed on, and you get, oh my gosh, I've got this whole collection of stamps, what do I do? Hopefully before that, you'll find out through them, before they pass on or whatever, that, hey, mom, dad, whoever, can you tell me if any of these stamps is really valuable? Go through everything with your senior family members, the elderly. Say, hey, you got a collection here. Is there anything in particular that you know to be quite valuable? Because otherwise you won't have a clue. Right. Because like I said, a lot of them, like a stamp collection especially, it's like a needle in a haystack. It's hard to find that one stamp but they're there. I mean, you can find a stamp that's worth probably $50,000, but yet the most of them are worth, $5 to $10. So
right. So the trick is that if you've got a collectible of something, it may not be worth something other than the pleasure of collecting it.
Sentimental.
Right. So if you start out collecting something because you think it's worth a lot of money, like the Beanie Babies, right? People collected those like crazy because they thought that they would be worth something. Now they're holding a bag full of Beanie Babies that worth nothing. So, and if you have no passion for it, then don't do it. Don't collect those kind of things. But collect things that you have a passion for. I collect spoons. Because
I do too.
I travel a lot and I just get a lot of joy out of looking at my little spoon collection. So
and it makes you happy.
Yeah. So, but I don't think it has any value whatsoever. Although I do have a New York World's Fair spoon that someone gave me. I don't know.
Yeah, that very well be worth, and there's personal value and there's cash value.
Yeah.
So, when we go in to do an estate sale, people will come in and I'll say, listen, is there anything in this house that you want to keep just for personal value? And we'll set it aside.
Right.
It might not look like anything to me. So it's going to go on the sale for a couple of dollars or it's going to be thrifted. So you need to tell me up front, listen, we're looking for this and it's not that it's valuable, but it's worth a lot to us because of the memories.
Mm-hmm. But it's worth having someone like you. Now you do go in and do estate sales, do you not? Are you doing that now? Okay. So you go in and do those. So it's worth, if you've got a lot of things, even if you don't have a lot, but if you've got a home that you want to put it up as an estate sale or something like that, it's wise to have someone like yourself go in and do that because number one, who wants to do it? I mean, it's a lot of work,
It is.
Another thing. And you don't know what the value is on these things. You can look at it and say, oh yeah, this is valuable. This is more of one of a kind, or this could be a collector kind of thing. And some of you don't even want to sell at an estate sale, that kind of thing. So you're an expert in that. So you kind of know what to do and what not to do. So it's definitely worth it. So they could give you a call or, contact you and possibly do that, couldn't they?
Yes. What I want to tell people is that just leave it alone. Let the estate sale people come in and decide what is to be thrown away, what is to be thrifted, what is to be set aside for whoever going to assisted living, the keep pile and the sell pile. There's recyclable. So, we know what's trash and we know what's cash.
Mm-hmm.
If you find a good estate sale person, that's their job. Their job is to go through the stuff and find out what's worth money.
Right.
And so you don't have to get the process by getting a dumpster, unless you want to shred personable items. And then you can do that, like checks and bank statements and investments, that kind of thing. You can shred those and put them in the trash, or notable trash. But even I found that old cereal boxes sell for a couple $100.
Oh, really?
If you find a bottle of whiskey in the rafters, we did one time, a bottle of whiskey unopened in the rafters in the basement. I sold it online for $200, unopened. But you have to sell it as a collectible, because eBay won't let you sell it, as a product to drink, a consumable product. You have to sell it as a collectible. So yeah, it's worth, number one, it'll ease the process for yourself so that you can do everything else that you have to do, and let them take over, the tedious job of going through everything.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think that's really the way to do. I mean, go in and if there's something that you want, get that out right away, and then let you sort out what's valuable, what's not. Then they can look at the pile of what's valuable and see if they do want to keep any of that. And if they don't, then sell it. You'll know like where to go to sell it too. That's another thing. It's like, do you want to put it in the estate sale? Do you want to, put it on eBay? Do you, certain places that you want to do for collectible type of things? And that's another big key, is that we don't realize where we need to sell it at. Because if we sell a collectible thing that maybe needs to go on eBay where the collectors go, those kind of things, and we sell it at just a garage sale, we're maybe not going to get that much money out of it, right? So again, we've left cash on the table, right?
Right, for sure. Let me tell you a little bit of a story. For an instance, I stopped at an estate sale, and there was a few things out front. It looked like a family, they wanted to sell the house. The first thing is, let's just sell the house. They don't think too much about the contents, but they threw some things out in the yard, and then there was a gentleman that let us in the house. Well, we walked by a chair, and immediately I said, okay, this is unusual. And they were asking only $40 for it, but I knew by looking at it, I said, this has to be mid-century. Okay, so I went ahead and bought it. It had a matching footstool to it. And then I also bought the parts of another chair that were beside it. So altogether, it came to $50. So, okay, if I was to put that chair in an estate sale, people would be like, and this is what? This means what? I had to do my research on it. I found out it was a rare Sanel chair from Mexico that was made in the 1960s. And I sold those for $1,400. But if I would have had it at the estate sale, people and put a price tag of say $800, well, that's still the deal. They can still buy it for $800 and make $600. But they would have been like, I'm not going to pay $800 for that chair, because they didn't know. So, I mean, sometimes I'll pull the people aside and say, listen, this chair or this light or that jewelry, it would be better off if I put it on for the world to see and not just for the neighborhood to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's amazing. That's an amazing story. And I know that I shared a couple with you about, having the baby Gibson guitar. That was
awesome.
That was really a great find. And then and I think I did share this with you, that I had a painting, like I bought it at a garage sale one time, and it was a like a pencil sketch, picture. And I bought it. It was I put it in my ex-husband's office. It looked really nice in his office. And I bought it for that reason, where I paid like hardly nothing on it. But then when we went to go move, I was going to sell it. So I just put it out in the garage sale. And my neighbor came over, which I knew, we're friends. And he brings this picture up to me, and I said, oh, you're going to get that? And he goes, are you really going to sell this in the garage sale? I said, should I not sell it in the garage sale?
Yeah.
No, this is an original, blah, blah, blah. And he knew the artist and all that. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, okay, I'm not selling it. And
Not in the garage sale.
But I had no idea.
Of course, that's what I look for. I look for those little, oh, hey, they didn't know.
I had not a clue. Not a clue. I gave it to my son instead. He has it now. But I was like, oh, I had no idea. I just thought it looked nice in my ex-husband's office. It's like, okay.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows that there's other people, one person's treasure is another person's, you know how that goes. One person's junk is another person's treasure. Yeah. You don't know. You just don't know.
No, you don't. You don't. So you need an expert if you're doing something like this, especially if it's your family's things that you need the money, for if they're, in a home now or whatever, and you want to start going through. So it's definitely something that that we need to do. And I know we're going to have to probably cut the show here soon, but we don't have a contact information for you here. Do you want to give me something that we can put up to share with them on how to reach you?
Yeah, you could. I have a webpage, www.patriciapenke.com, and my book is on Amazon. And I can give you an email also, if that would work. It's Penke, Penke, Patty, Patty @hotmail.com.
Penke and then Patty.
Yeah, Patty. That is on my blog. I have a blog called turntrash2.cash, and people can reach me there with questions. I get a lot of questions when I write an article, and they say, hey, I have this old Mickey Mouse doll. Is it worth anything? And I really don't charge anybody. It's kind of fun for me to help people. It's not, when you love something, when you love doing something, it's not necessarily about the money. My goal is really to keep things from going to the landfill.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was your last name, and then Patty. What was the rest of it?
It's Penke. My first Penke, Penke, and then Patty, Patty @hotmail.com.
Oh, at Hotmail. I'm sorry about this. We should have.
Now here's a picture of the book here.
Yes. Let me make it bigger so everybody can see.
Sure.
Yeah. There you go. Go ahead and show it.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay, there's the book here.
That's what it looks like. So when you go on Amazon, that's what it looks like. You just go on Amazon.com or click the link that we have at the bottom of the show notes. And then we're also going to have all of your information on the website too. So we'll have that all of that up on. We'll have a page. We're going to design a page for Patty.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
I'm happy I found you.
Yeah, so it's great. So we'll be able to have that all up. And I think it's going to be a very interesting book. So, so often we don't know what to do. And there again, you're located right here in Florida. In where are you in?
Largo.
I'm in Clearwater, so we're close to each other. So if you're local, and you have an estate sale or a garage sale that you want Patty to have a look at, or some items to have her look at, she can do that. And so definitely give her a call. No reason to throw cash in the trash.
I will say too that if somebody doesn't want to have an estate sale, that's why I wrote the book. They can have their own, or they can hire somebody. Like I also get paid per hour just to tell people, hey, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good. Mm-hmm. So that way you can have your own and you can make lots of money. So if you don't want to hire an estate sale company, that's why you would get the book. It would teach you a lot of things that you didn't know so that you can conduct your own. So.
Yeah, definitely. So that Stop Throwing Cash in the Trash. That's the book. Stop Throwing Cash in the Trash. And wonderful. We have the author right here, Patricia Penke. And so you can go on Amazon.com. And then again, we have the link on the show notes, and then we'll do it on our page so that you can take you right there so that you can get it. And contact her, of course, right here. And it's at patriciapenke.com. That's PATRICIAPENKE.com. Check out her website, or you can send her an email at penkepatty@hotmail.com. That's PENKE Patty, PATTY @hotmail.com. So definitely contact her and, save some money, make some money, In today's
Yes, we could all use it.
yeah, today's times, that's the way to go. So I love it. So again, the book is Stop Throwing Cash in the Trash, and make sure you check it out right on Amazon.com. It's well worth the investment, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you so much for being on the show here today. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm more than happy to be here.
Yeah, we'll have to have
I wish I could talk forever because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have you come back. I think definitely when we talk about, going through some things like this and trying to be able to distribute our, it's just so hard, really, when you're going through estates and things like that.
Oh yeah, it's also, sometimes people. I mean, when my father passed away, it was hard for me to even look at my father's things. It would have been much easier to have somebody else come in and just take it over.
Right. Well, and the other thing is we think when we look at some of those things that mean so much to us, they're so valuable to us, and it's just monetary. It's not the actual cash. And so it's good to have someone say, listen, that might mean something to you. Like, for instance, I have my grandfather's shaving mug. It probably doesn't, it's probably not worth anything. Who knows, maybe, but it's worth the world to me. So it's
right
to kind of sort those things out and really understand what you have. And, who knows, maybe over time it is worth something because you keep something long. Well, they say you keep it long enough, right?
But it's probably worth money. The razor he used.
Yeah.
Check out those Gillette razors, guys.
That's right. Those razors. Yeah. See, there's a lot of little things we don't know that is worth money. So read the book. You got to read the book.
Yeah, read the book. Read the book.
Read the book. So stop throwing cash in the trash. So these little things you have no idea that's worth a lot of money. You don't want to miss out on that. So again, this is the Author's Corner. Meet the author. I'm your host, Cece Shatz, the Doyenne of Relationship Building. I want to thank you for joining WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is the goingsolonetwork.com. Check it out. All of our information's on there. If you want to email me, my email is goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. I just love to get your messages and all of your emails. I read them myself, so please send them on. I just enjoy that so much. And check out all of our other shows, all of our wonderful guests and hosts. They do such a great job. So catch us right here on goingsolonetwork.com. Thank you again, Patty. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye.